my name is Vilma and I am a knitter from Finland, and today I want to take a look through the latest Laine Magazine number with you. I have the magazine right here, and this video is not going to be a proper review, but more of a light-hearted look through the pages together, and I'm just going to add my commentary about the patterns, what I think about them, but I haven't knit any of them yet, so I'm not going to be commenting on whether the actual patterns are good, whether they are easy to follow or anything like that. Just going to have a little look through the magazine and the pictures. Here is the cover of number 23 Laine Magazine. This time they went with a soft orange color for the contrast color, and otherwise it has the regular layout with the designers listed on the left and a picture taking up most of the space. In the beginning they have some advertisements. Here is the table of contents, so we are just going to look at the designs and skipping all of the articles. With the first photographs, I want to say the name of the model. She is Mia Zambra, and the photographs for this magazine were taken at the Boosgård Manor in Porvoo, and you can see they are beautiful wintry pictures. To me, a big appeal of Laine magazine are always the beautiful photographs. Oh, and by the way, this is not the proper manor house of Boosgård Manor. This is like I would imagine it's an older farm building, but it's not the proper manor house. Then we get to the first design, which is Dazzler by Lisa Lewis. And Dazzler is, as you can see, it's a colorwork jumper. And it's knit with Snefnug by Kamarosa. So it's going to be very soft and a bit of a thicker, bulkier sweater. I have to say personally, Snefnug is one of my favorite yarns, so I think knitted with that yarn this sweater would be very, very lovely. And of course in these pictures the sample is knit with very high contrast colors. But of course you could choose colors much closer to each other to create a softer contrast. The next design is Cork, a cardigan by Camille Romano. And this is another, I could say, more bulky design. The suggested yarn is Yomo by Ito. I have never knit with that yarn personally, but you can already see from the photography that this is a pretty, I don't want to say bulky all the time, but how could I say chunky knit. Do we have more? No, let me go back to this picture. I really like the folded or the rolling collar of this one. I think it looks very nice with the overall design. And also really impressed by how well the buttons match the shade of the cardigan. Though I don't know how easy that will be to recreate. Definitely depends on what your local yarn shop has. I'm skipping some articles there. Then we have Cinnamon Twists by Kaori Katsurada. And this is a raglan sweater with a lot of texture, twisted stitches and cables. And it is knit with Brooklyn tweed shelter. I have to say, this is something, one of my favorite designs from this magazine. I really like how you have these very small sections of the twisted stitches, and it just creates such a scrumptious texture all over the sweater. I think also it would probably be very fun to knit. So lovely to knit and lovely to wear. One of my favorites. Then we have the Cora Slipover by Pablo Aneiros. And this one is knit with Cautiva by Wool Dreamers. Another yarn that I have never knit with, but I really like the green color of the sample. I have definitely seen similar slipovers in the past where you like tie it on the side, but I do really like this one. I think it's very pretty, and it would probably be a quick knit, which is nice. Then we have the South Sister hat by Liz Smith. And this one is knit with Tones by Brooklyn Tweed. And the sample is in this beautiful bright red color. Now, don't look at the advertisement, but I really wanted to show this photograph because this is one of my favorite photographs, not just from this number, but from any Laine Magazine numbers that I have. I think it's just so beautiful, the composition of the photograph, the little ribbon, and how the red of the hat is just beaming from the photograph. I think it's so stunning. And the hat itself is fine. If I need a hat like that, I will probably knit it, but to me, you know, a hat's a hat. It's going to take a lot for a hat to be a real showstopper for me personally. Then we are going to skip another article so that we get to Snowfield by Hiromi Nagasawa. Snowfield is knit with two yarns held together. Gilead by De Rerum Natura and the Silk Mohair by Isayer. This one is another one of my favorites. I would really like to knit this sweater. And this one is knit with a saddle shoulder, which you can see best in this photo. And I really like how the saddle shoulder technique or construction is kinda moving into the cables. I think it looks very clever and yeah, very, very pretty. The sample is knit in this beautiful white, but personally I would like to knit this sweater in blue. Then we have Brick Road, a scarf by Sara Ottosson. And this scarf is knit with Lore by the Fiber Company. And I do like a long scarf. And you can see it has this very clever texture. Once again, I don't want to show you the ads, but I want to show the other pictures. So this one, I believe, uses the technique of slipped stitches to create this this pattern, this texture. And kinda I feel similarly as I feel with the hat. If I need a new scarf, maybe I would consider this one, but it's not a showstopper for me. Then we have the Unfold sweater by Vibe Ulrik Söndergaard. And as you can see, the main design element of this one is the huge big collar. And this one is also knit with 2 yarns. It's knit with Chaos yarn Chunky and Andean wool, and organic brushed alpaca, so both from Chaos yarn. And I do really like the color of the sample, but I have to say I'm a bit intimidated by the big color. It's maybe a bit too editorial for me, but maybe my tastes are just a bit too boring. And then we have the Pampa cardigan by Macarena Silva. And this short-sleeved cardigan is knit with the fingering weight yarn by Tuku Wool. So it's a Finnish yarn, and it has a very lovely overall texture, which maybe you can see from this black and white photo the best. It's very difficult to see in the pictures that are taken from further away. Personally, I don't know how versatile it would be for me to have a short-sleeved cardigan, though I do think it looks pretty cute, but especially in the winter, I really need the warmth of the long sleeves. So I don't know, I would be curious to hear what purposes people use this type of garments for. And then the last design of this number is Vespera by Florence Sperling. And this one is knit with a lot of different yarns to create the intarsia design. The sample has used mohair silk from La Bien-Aimée and slubby mohair, merino linen and chunky mohair by Cocon. I assume those are the ones used for the intarsia. So you can see from this picture, the idea of the design is to play with different yarns to create these sort of intarsia blocks on the front, back and the sleeves. Now, once again, I'm a bit boring with my taste, so I think this would be a blast to knit, but I don't know how much use I would get from this sweater. I could feel the styling of it would be a bit difficult. But I think it's very beautiful and fun to look at least. And then the last pattern of this magazine is the Climbing Higher socks by Tess van de Kolk. Tess is from Australia, so I actually don't know how she pronounces her name. I'm so sorry if I pronounced it way wrong. And the yarn used for these socks is the Explorer Knits Denali sock yarn. And as you can see, these socks have a lot of texture. Once again, don't look at the ad, I just want to show this picture. Because I always find it nice to also see the back of a sock. So you can see it has a lot of texture. Also the color of the sample is very beautiful, I think. And it definitely looks like a nice thinner sock, so something you can definitely fit in your regular shoe, which is really nice. And so that was the final pattern of Laine Magazine number 23. So those were all of the patterns of the latest Laine magazine. I would really like to hear your opinions on them. What do you think? Have you picked up the magazine or are you skipping on this one? And yeah, if you are inspired and interested by some of the patterns, or also what you want to knit instead, if you don't really like any of them, if they are not your cup of tea, I would also like to hear that. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!